The council chamber of the galaxy was never quiet. It was filled with voices of alien leaders, each louder than the other, each speaking of power, wars, and control. But on this day, the noise turned to whispers when the subject of Earth came forward. A tall, silver-skinned alien with burning eyes slammed his clawed hand on the table. "Humans," he said, spitting the word with disgust. "They are weak. They are small. They should bow to us already." Others laughed. A creature with scales and a long tail hissed, "They fight among themselves. They destroy their own planet. Why should we fear them?" But then a quiet voice rose from the corner. It was an older alien, his skin pale and wrinkled, his eyes dim but sharp. "You call them weak," he said slowly, "yet they never submit. Even when faced with powers greater than themselves, they endure." "Tell me, why is that?" The chamber fell into silence for a brief moment. Then laughter returned, louder than before. "Endure? That is no strength. It is only foolish pride." Still, unease lingered in the air. Across the stars, Earth was watched closely. Fleets hovered near the solar system, studying, observing, waiting for the perfect time to strike. And yet, Earth did not move. Its governments did not beg. Its armies did not rise. Its skies remained calm. This calmness became the very thing that troubled the galaxy. A young alien commander, seated among his generals, frowned as he read the reports. "They are too quiet," he whispered. "If they know we are watching, why do they not prepare? Why do they not panic?" Another general sneered. "Because they are fools. They do not understand what is coming." But the commander shook his head. "No, this feels wrong. No species stays silent when the wolves are at the door." Meanwhile, on Earth, the streets of cities moved as if nothing was wrong. Children played, traders bargained, workers went to their jobs. The world looked ordinary, peaceful, fragile. To the galaxy, this only added to the mystery. At night, in a hidden chamber beneath the United Nations building, Earth's leaders gathered. The air was heavy with tension. A woman with sharp eyes, the Secretary General, spoke first. "The Council believes we are weak. They believe we are blind. Let them believe." A younger leader slammed his fist on the table. "But how long can we hide? They circle above us like vultures. One day they will strike." The woman's voice was calm, but her words carried steel. "And when they strike, they will learn the truth." Her words were followed by silence, the kind that makes hearts beat faster. Far above Earth, in the darkness of space, alien scouts sent reports back to their empires. They spoke of strange signals from the planet, of strange movements deep under the oceans, of patterns that did not make sense. One report described a structure buried in the ice of Antarctica, pulsing with light. Another spoke of shapes moving beneath the surface of the moon. The commanders laughed at these reports, calling them errors, illusions, or tricks of human imagination. But the young alien commander was not convinced. "They are building something," he whispered to himself. "Something we cannot see fully yet." One night, as the alien fleets watched Earth, a strange thing happened. For a brief moment, every starship's systems flickered. Lights dimmed, engines faltered, weapons went offline. The disturbance lasted only a few seconds, but it left a mark of fear. "What was that?" one captain shouted. "No weapon struck us. No signal was traced," another replied. Panicked, the commanders tried to hide their fear with anger. "It was nothing, a glitch, no more." But deep inside, unease grew stronger. On Earth, the Secretary General stood at the window of her office, looking out at the night sky. Beside her, an aide asked softly, "Do they suspect anything?" She gave a faint smile. "Not yet. Let them laugh. Let them watch. The galaxy has forgotten one thing." Her voice lowered into a whisper, almost like a secret carried by the wind. "Silence is not weakness. Silence is preparation." Far away in the council chamber, the old alien who had first warned them spoke again. His voice trembled, but His words cut through the noise. "Mark this," he said, staring at the others. "When humanity's silence breaks, it will not be a whisper. It will be a roar." The others mocked him once more, but the seed of doubt had already been planted, and in the darkness of the galaxy, as fleets tightened their watch on Earth, a question began to haunt even the strongest of empires. What are the humans waiting for? The silence of Earth stretched on, longer and heavier than ever before, and the galaxy, though filled with power and pride, could not shake the feeling that the silence was not the sound of weakness. It was the sound before the storm. The alien fleet arrived without warning. Dozens of massive ships, their hulls glowing with cold light, entered Earth's orbit. They blocked out the stars, casting shadows across the blue planet below. For the people of Earth, the sky became a cage of steel. On the flagship, Commander Valon stood tall. His body was covered with dark armor, his voice sharp like a blade. "At last," he said to his officers, "the humans will bow. Today, their silence ends." His second-in-command, a reptilian creature with glowing green eyes, hissed in amusement. "They are children playing with fire. They cannot resist us. They will beg for mercy." Valon nodded, his lips curling into a cruel smile. "Send the message." Moments later, every screen on Earth, every phone, every broadcast, every satellite channel went dark. Then a single image appeared. The alien commander, his shadow stretching across the stars behind him. "People of Earth," he said, his voice echoing in every corner of the planet. "You are weak. You are unworthy of your world. From this day, you belong to us. You will surrender your armies, your leaders, and your future. Resist, and you will be destroyed." The world held its breath. Cities froze in silence. Children stared at screens, clutching their parents' hands. Soldiers across nations stood ready, but no orders came. The people waited for their leaders to speak. In the hidden chamber beneath the United Nations, the Secretary-General sat at the head of the table. Her face remained calm, though the air trembled with tension. "They have made their move," she said. A younger leader stood up, his voice shaking. "We cannot fight them. Look at the size of their fleet. One strike and Earth will burn." Another slammed his fist down. "Then what do you suggest? Kneel before them like slaves?" The Secretary-General raised her hand. The argument stopped. She spoke slowly, each word sharp as glass. "We will not kneel. We will not surrender. And we will not reveal our strength. Not yet." Confusion filled the room. One of the leaders whispered, "But if we do nothing, the people will lose hope." Her gaze turned cold. "Hope does not come from empty speeches. It comes from truth. And the truth is waiting." Above Earth, Commander Valon grew impatient. "Why do they not answer?" he growled. "Why do they not tremble?" His second-in-command sneered. "Perhaps they are too frightened to speak." Valon's eyes narrowed. "Or perhaps they are mocking us." He slammed his fist against the console. "Bring one of their cities to its knees. Let them taste fear." On Earth, alarms rang. Across the skies, satellites detected movement. One of the alien warships breaking formation, charging its weapons. Its target, an Earth city of millions. In the underground chamber, a general's face turned pale as he read the report. "They are going to strike. We cannot stop them." But the Secretary-General remained still, her eyes fixed on the ceiling, as if she could see the warship above. Her lips curved into a faint, almost dangerous smile. "Let them strike, and let the galaxy watch what follows." The alien ship descended, its weapons glowing brighter, ready to unleash destruction. Civilians screamed and scattered. Governments prepared emergency evacuations. The world waited for fire to fall. And then, nothing happened. The alien ship froze in midair, its lights flickering wildly. Systems failed one after another. Engines died. Weapons powered down. The great warship hung helplessly above the city like a broken toy. Inside the flagship, alarms blared. "Commander, Ship 12 has lost all power." "What?" Valon roared. "How?" "No weapon detected, no attack registered. It is as if something has taken control." Valon's fury turned into confusion. By whom? On Earth, the people watched in disbelief. The alien warship, once ready to destroy them, now fell silent in the sky. Slowly, like a stone dropping into the sea, it began to sink until, at the last moment, its systems flickered back to life and it limped back into orbit. The city was unharmed. In the underground chamber, the younger leader gasped. Did we do that? Was it our defense system?" The Secretary-General only smiled, her expression unreadable. "The answer will come soon enough." Above, Commander Valon's rage burned hotter than any star. "This is impossible. No species has power to disable our ships. No one." His claws dug into the metal console. The old alien commander, far away in the council chamber of the galaxy, heard the news. His tired eyes widened, and he whispered to himself, "So it begins." Across the galaxy, empires listened. Some laughed at the failure, calling it chance or malfunction, but others grew quiet. They remembered the silence of Earth. They remembered the strange signals from the solar system, and doubt spread like a shadow across the stars. Back on the flagship, Valon growled at his crew. "Send another message to Earth, louder this time." Moments later, screens across the planet lit up again. His furious face appeared, his voice filled with venom. "Humans, do not think this trick will save you. We are the rulers of the stars. Submit now, or the full fire of our fleet will fall upon you." On Earth, the Secretary-General stood before her council. She whispered one line, almost too soft to hear, yet filled with certainty. They believe they are hunters. Soon they will learn what prey truly is. The council chamber fell silent, and in the sky above, the alien fleet gathered. Its fire, unaware that something ancient, something hidden, was already watching them from the shadows of Earth itself. The alien fleet stayed in orbit, circling Earth like predators, waiting for the kill. Commander Valon paced inside his flagship, his claws scratching against the metal floor. His voice echoed through the chamber. "Explain to me," he growled, "how one of my warships lost all power over a human city. Explain it now." His engineers bent low, their voices trembling. "We searched, Commander. No weapon hit the ship. No virus entered our systems. The power loss came from nowhere." "Nowhere." Valon roared. "Machines do not break without cause. Something happened, and I will find out what." His second-in-command leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Perhaps the humans are not as weak as they appear." The words made Valon laugh, a dark, bitter laugh. "Humans, they have no power, no empire, no ships. They cling to their little world like insects. No, this was chance, a failure of our own making." But deep in his heart, even he felt a whisper of doubt. Far beneath the oceans of Earth, in a place no alien eyes had ever seen, machines older than living memory stirred. Enormous structures, hidden in trenches so deep that sunlight never reached. Them pulsed with faint blue light. Vast towers hummed, sending invisible signals across the seas. In a secret base carved beneath Antarctica's ice, a group of humans stood in silence as screens lit up with glowing maps. One of the scientists adjusted her glasses, her voice steady but tense. "The fleet is still watching. They know something is wrong, but they do not know where to look." A military officer crossed his arms. "They must not find out. The time is not right." The Secretary-General appeared on the central screen. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with quiet intensity. "Hold your positions. Do not reveal too much. The galaxy believes us weak. Let that belief blind them a little longer." The scientist hesitated. But how long can we keep the truth hidden? The more they press, the more dangerous this becomes. The Secretary General leaned closer to the camera. The more they press, the more they will fear when they discover what we have kept in the shadows. Above Earth, the alien fleet scanned the planet. They used sensors to probe the oceans, the mountains, the skies. They searched for hidden weapons, secret armies, signs of resistance. Most of what they saw looked ordinary, far too ordinary. Then a small anomaly appeared. On the moon's far side, buried deep in the rock, something pulsed. Faint, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. An officer pointed at the reading. "Commander, there is something here, a structure, not natural." Vailon's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The screen revealed a massive shape, buried under the lunar surface. Its edges were sharp, its surface smooth. No human technology could have built such a thing. "Impossible," Vailon whispered. "The humans could not have done this." "They do. Not have the skill," the officer swallowed nervously. "And yet it is there." The commander's voice hardened. "Then dig it out. I want to know what secrets they hide." As alien ships prepared to descend to the moon, something strange happened again. Their sensors failed, their maps blurred, their systems rebooted without reason. The image of the buried structure vanished from their screens as if it had never existed. The officer turned pale. "Commander, the data is gone." Vailon's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "Gone? Or erased?" His second-in-command hissed. "The humans are playing with us. They mock us. We must crush them now, before their tricks grow stronger." But Vailon raised a clawed hand. "Not yet. If there is something hidden, I want it alive. I want to see it, to understand it. Only then will I destroy them." On Earth, a group of children played in the streets, unaware that alien eyes were watching from the skies. To the fleet, these humans looked small, fragile, powerless. And yet, every time they tried to strike, something unseen pushed back. In the hidden base under the ice, the scientists stared at the glowing maps again. "They found the structure on the moon," she whispered. "But it erased itself before. They could scan it fully." The officer frowned. "Good. It means the defense still works." The Secretary General's voice returned through the speakers. "Let them search. Let them grow uneasy. The longer they hunt shadows, the more fear will take root in their hearts." The scientist bit her lip. "But if they grow desperate, they may attack without warning." The Secretary General's eyes narrowed. "Then we will show them a little more of the truth, enough to keep them guessing." That night, as the alien fleet continued its watch, they detected something new. A massive energy wave pulsed across the solar system. It was not an attack. It was more like a signal, a voice too large to hear, too ancient to understand. Alarms blared. "Commander, a wave of unknown origin is passing through every ship. It is not harming us, but it feels like we are being scanned." "Scanned?" Vailon's voice shook with rage and unease. "By whom?" No answer came, but on Earth, deep below the ocean, the hidden machines glowed brighter. Their hum grew louder, and in the darkness, as the energy wave faded, the Secretary General whispered to her council, "They wanted to see our weakness. Instead, they have glimpsed our shadow, and shadows are only cast when something far greater stands behind them." The council chamber fell into silence. Above, in the galaxy's farthest corners, empires whispered uneasily. Some dismissed it as tricks, but others began to wonder if the humans had been hiding more than just silence. And in the heart of the alien fleet, Commander Vailon stared out the window at the blue planet below. For the first time, doubt gnawed at his pride. "What are you hiding, humans?" he muttered. "What are you waiting for?" The stars gave no answer. Only Earth's silence remained. But now it was no longer the silence of weakness. It was the silence of shadows waiting to rise. The sky above Earth had never looked so heavy. Alien warships covered the heavens like a dark storm, their glowing weapons pointed downward. For weeks they had watched, scanned, and threatened, but now their patience had ended. Commander Valon stood on the bridge of his flagship, his eyes burning with anger. "Enough of these games," he roared. "The humans mock us with their silence. Today we break it. Today we strike." His officers bowed their heads. One of them asked, "Which city shall fall, Commander?" Valon's claws tapped against the arm of his chair. He thought for a long moment before replying, "New York, their greatest city, burn it. Let the galaxy see their weakness." The order spread through the fleet. Weapons charged. The air around Earth vibrated with the energy of destruction. On the ground, alarms wailed. People ran through the streets, clutching their children. Soldiers rushed to their stations, but their weapons felt useless against the massive ships above. Fear spread like fire. In the underground chamber beneath the United Nations, the Council gathered in silence. One of the leaders shouted in panic, "They will destroy us! We must launch our defense now!" But the Secretary-General raised her hand. Her calm voice cut through the fear. "Not yet." The young leader's face twisted with disbelief. "Not yet? Do you not see the sky? Do you not hear the alarms? They will kill millions." Her eyes locked on his, steady and unshaken. "Patience. The moment has not come." Above, the alien fleet prepared to unleash fire. The weapons hummed, glowing brighter and brighter. Commander Valon leaned forward. "Fire!" The heavens split open. Streams of burning light rained down from the warships, streaking toward Earth like the hands of angry gods. Buildings shook. The ground trembled. People screamed. And then something impossible happened. The burning light froze mid-air. The beams of destruction hung above the city like rivers of fire trapped in glass. They did not touch the ground. They did not burn a single soul. They simply stopped. Silence filled the world. On the flagship, chaos erupted. "Commander, the weapons, they did not hit." Valon snarled. "What do you mean they did not hit? I saw the fire." The officer's voice cracked. "Yes, but something stopped it. It was not us. It was not them. It was something else." The entire bridge fell into stunned silence. On the ground, millions of eyes looked upward, watching the frozen beams above their city. A child whispered to her mother, "Mommy, is it a miracle?" In the secret Antarctic base, the scientist gasped at the readings on her screen. "It has awakened." The military officer beside her clenched his fists. "Then it begins." The Secretary-General's voice came through the speakers, calm and steady. "The galaxy thinks we are weak. Let them keep thinking it, until the truth reveals itself." Above, the frozen light suddenly bent. Slowly, impossibly, it twisted upward, turning back toward the alien fleet. Panic filled the flagship. "Commander, the beams are reversing!" The streams of fire that had been meant to destroy Earth now rushed back toward their creators. Several warships tried to dodge, but they were too slow. The burning light struck them, ripping through their shields, tearing them apart in explosions of fire and metal. The sky blazed with destruction. Commander Valon's eyes widened in disbelief. "No, this cannot be." His second-in-command hissed in fear. "This is not human technology. No species has this power." Valon growled, though his voice trembled. "Then what are they?" Across the galaxy, the images of the battle spread. Hidden transmitters on the alien ships carried the scenes to distant empires. Billions watched in horror as the proud fleet of Valon was struck by its own fire. In the Grand Council chamber, the old alien elder shook his head. His voice was a whisper, but every ear strained to hear it. "I warned you, silence is not weakness. Silence is the breath before the storm." On Earth, the people cheered, though their leaders remained quiet. The Secretary-General stood before her council, her expression unreadable. One of the leaders asked in awe, "What was that? Was it our weapon?" She paused before answering. It was only a glimpse, a shadow of what we are. The room fell silent. In orbit, the surviving alien warships pulled back, gathering in broken formation. Fires burned across their hulls. Officers screamed for answers. Panic spread through the once proud fleet. Commander Velon gripped the edge of his console, his claws leaving deep marks in the metal. His voice shook with fury. "They humiliate us. They turn our fire against us. But I will not retreat, not until Earth lies broken." But even as he spoke, doubt gnawed at his heart. He could not shake the image of the frozen light, the way it bent and twisted like clay in unseen hands. No empire had ever done such a thing. No power had ever defied the natural laws of the universe so easily. On Earth, the Secretary-General walked alone to a tall window, looking out at the night sky. Her reflection stared back at her, calm and resolute. She whispered to herself, "The first strike is done. Now they know the shadows are real. But they have not yet seen the dawn." The world outside was silent. The galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. And above the Earth, in the ruined fleet of Commander Velon, fear spread for the first time. Fear of the humans, fear of what might come next. Because if this was only their first strike, then what was still waiting in the dark? The alien fleet drifted in chaos above Earth. Fire and smoke poured from broken ships, their formations shattered. What was meant to be a simple act of conquest had turned into a nightmare. On the flagship, Commander Velon's face twisted with rage and fear. His officers whispered in panic. "They turned our weapons against us," one said, trembling. Another cried, "Commander, we cannot fight what we do not understand. Their silence hides something far greater than we imagined." Velon slammed his fist into the console. "Silence, tricks, no. They cannot be more than what they seem. They are only humans." But even as he shouted, doubt filled his heart. Across the galaxy, broadcasts of the battle spread like wildfire. Every empire, every council, every distant outpost saw the proud fleet of Velon broken by Earth's strange power. In quiet chambers, alien leaders whispered to each other. "What are they?" one asked. "Why did they hide their strength until now?" said another, and the oldest among them shivered. Perhaps they were never weak. Perhaps they only pretended to be. On Earth, the Underground Council watched the same images. Leaders sat in stunned silence. Finally, one spoke, his voice shaking. "It is time. The galaxy has seen enough shadows. Let us show them who we are." But the Secretary-General shook her head. Her voice was calm, cold, and certain. "Not yet. We do not reveal everything. We reveal only what they must know. A warning." The others leaned forward. "And what will that warning be?" Her eyes hardened. "The truth." Moments later, every screen across the galaxy flickered, from the smallest outpost in the void to the Grand Council chamber at the galactic core. Every eye saw the same image, a human woman standing tall against a black background. The Secretary-General, her voice was calm, steady, and carried across the stars like thunder. "People of the galaxy," she began, "you look upon Earth and see weakness. You look upon humanity and see division. You see our silence and mistake it for fear." Her eyes sharpened. "You are wrong." Every empire froze. Every commander leaned closer to their screens. The chamber of Velon fell silent as her words echoed through his ship. "For centuries," she said, "we watched. We listened. We saw your wars, your empires, your hunger for power, and so we remained quiet, hidden, waiting, not because we were weak, but because we chose peace." A murmur spread across alien worlds. The Secretary-General's face never changed. "You brought fire to our skies. You thought we would bow. Instead, you tasted your own destruction. That was not our full power. That was only a reflection of your violence turned back upon you." Her voice deepened. "Know this. Humanity is not your prey. We are not your servants. We are not your empire to claim. We are the storm you never saw coming." The galaxy listened in frozen silence. On the flagship, Velon clenched his fists, his chest burning with fury. "Lies," he hissed. Empty words. But even his officers did not answer. They stared at the screen, their scales pale, their hearts filled with fear. The Secretary General leaned forward, her eyes sharp as blades. We stayed hidden to avoid your endless wars. We stayed silent to avoid your greed. But silence does not mean weakness. Silence means patience, and now our patience is at an end. Her final words cut across the stars like a knife. You wanted to know what humanity is. Now you know. We are awake. The screen went dark. The galaxy held its breath. In the Grand Council chamber, the old alien elder spoke again. His voice trembled as he whispered, "This is the moment. The balance has broken. Nothing will ever be the same." Across 1,000 worlds, people shivered. For the first time, the galaxy did not laugh at Earth. It feared it. Back on Earth, the underground base hummed with power. The machines in the oceans pulsed brighter. The hidden structures on the moon awakened. Something vast stirred, as if answering the words of the Secretary General. One of the scientists whispered to the officer beside her, "Do you hear it?" "Hear what?" "The sound," she said. Her voice was shaking, her eyes wide. "It is like the world itself is breathing." Above Earth, Commander Valon stared into the dark void where the human broadcast had ended. His pride screamed at him to fight, to destroy, to prove himself. But fear whispered louder. "What are you humans?" he muttered. For once, the stars gave no answer. But deep within Earth's oceans, the hidden machines whispered back, their hum growing stronger. It was not the sound of weakness. It was not the sound of fear. It was the sound of humanity unmasked. The galaxy did not sleep that night. From the burning edges of Valon's broken fleet to the shining palaces of the galactic core, every being waited, held between fear and wonder. The humans had spoken. They had unmasked themselves. In the council, chambers of great empires, silence stretched longer than war drums. Leaders who once shouted about power now sat frozen. Words failed them. For the first time in living memory, no empire dared to speak of conquest. On the battered flagship, Commander Valon's pride was ash. His crew whispered among themselves, their voices thin with dread. "What do we do now?" one asked. Another shook his head. "They said that was not even their full power," Valon growled. "Fear is poison. Humanity is bluffing. They cannot stand against the galaxy." But even as he spoke, doubt gnawed at his heart. He had seen their weapons bend back upon them, their ships torn apart by forces unseen. He had heard the human leader's words, and though he wanted to deny them, a single thought crawled through his mind. What if it was true? Back on Earth, the underground base shook as machines buried deep in rock and ocean stirred to life. Energy lines pulsed under the surface of continents, glowing faintly. In the night, in orbit, satellites shifted into strange new patterns. Dr. Elena, watching the readouts, whispered to the others, "We never wanted this day to come, but it has." General Harris stood beside her, his jaw tight. "We have kept this secret for centuries. We must decide now. Do we finish what has begun?" Elena turned to him, her eyes full of fear and hope. "Do we have a choice?" The screens above them showed messages pouring in from alien worlds. Some begged for peace, some demanded surrender, others swore vengeance. The Secretary General entered, her face unreadable. The room fell silent. She looked at the glowing maps of Earth, the shifting lines of energy across the globe. "They will come again," she said softly. "And next time, they will not come only to conquer, they will come to destroy." General Harris clenched his fists. "Then we make sure they never dare again." The Secretary General's eyes sharpened. "Yes, but we will not destroy them. That is not who we are. We will remind them why silence can be more powerful than war." Her words hung heavy in the room. In the Galactic Council chamber, panic turned to debate. "If we strike now, we can end them before they awaken fully," shouted one warlord. "No," whispered an elder. "If what they say is true, then any strike will return to us 1,000 times stronger." The chamber erupted in arguments until one voice rose above them all. The High Chancellor, leader of the core systems, spoke slowly. "If Earth truly holds this power, then war will not save us. Perhaps nothing will." Back in orbit, remnants of Valen's fleet regrouped. His officers begged for orders. "Retreat. Commander, if we stay, we die." Valen's pride screamed against it, but fear won. With a final look at the blue planet below, he gave the order, "Fall back." His fleet limped away, broken and silent. On Earth, people cheered as news spread. The invaders were leaving. But in the underground base, no one celebrated. The Secretary-General's face remained grim. "They are gone for now," she said. "But not forever. The galaxy does not forget. And now they fear us," Dr. Elena asked. "Then what do we do?" The Secretary-General looked at her, and for the first time, her voice softened. "We do what we have always done. We endure, we build, and when the time comes, we decide whether to remain silent or to speak again." Far across the stars, in hidden fortresses and shadowed empires, alien leaders whispered the same words over and over. Humanity is awake. No fleets moved, no wars began. The galaxy held its breath, waiting, watching, fearing, and Earth, glowing faintly in the dark, said nothing more. The silence was louder than war. It spread across the stars, into every council chamber, every throne, every soldier's heart. It was a silence filled with warning, a silence heavy with power, and so, for the first time in history, the galaxy fell silent. But in that silence, a question burned in every mind. What will humanity do next?